Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen. We're about to go into the second match between Sin Gaming and Legacy Esports, and currently Sin are leading 1-0.
They certainly are. They absolutely smashed Legacy that game. It was over from 12 minutes. I mean, really poor macro play. Actually, just really poor understanding of like what your objectives were in that early game as well. Out of Legacy, and Sin run away with it. I mean, if you're Carbon and you're playing scaling lanes, don't go for ganks. Just counter ward, track juves around the jungle, actually try and fight him in his jungle, because Lee Sin at the moment, if he ever gets the jump on Elise, absolutely destroys her. But instead, went for some risky ganks. Top lane, bottom lane, got killed on both of them. Game over.
Pretty much. That summed up the entire match. And Sin, they've had quite a few matches that have that exact same tale, where Flares gets ahead of top lane thanks to a counter gank from Juves, and the game's over. After that single gank, I believe it's 4 or 5 times now during the entire Gauntlet run. And Legacy, they've had the luxury of watching Sin play 10 matches. They would have seen this happen a couple of times.
But the trick is, it will never happen to me. They were sitting there watching AV and like, huh, how stupid are these guys? This is never going to happen to us. They were sitting there watching the Chiefs and like, God, that team's gone downhill. That'll never happen to us. Game 1, guess what? It happened to you, Legacy. Now what do you do to respond?
But for Sin, they decided to ban out a couple new, a new champion here, as Ivan, Brom, and Fizz will actually hit the bench. Respect ban from Sin there, as Syndra is banned out by Legacy with Thresh as well as Rumble.
Yeah, that LeBlanc counter pick. Whew. Back in the top drawer. I'm not going to see that one again. Unfortunately, did not work out for Claire. And interestingly enough, Sin has taken blue side. They were picking red side pretty much exclusively for the first 2 games, but obviously valuing that first pick.
It's momentum, Spawn. They won on blue side. They can do it again. Rogue has picked up Zyra as their support of choice. A champion that's actually banned out against him commonly. Legacy, however, take Varus, and they pick up Misfortune instantly.
Interestingly, they take Varus over Ashe, though. Because now you're giving over Ashe Zyra, which if you ever burn the flash on MF, turns into a really hard kill lane. Sure, MF should win this, but I just feel like Ashe is a little bit more sound than Varus at the moment. Is that just me? Maybe.
No, I completely agree. And Ashe is actually locked in for Sin, a pick that's been denied from FBI for quite some time. And Victor as well. Sin already have a really decent team composition lined up. Let's see what the final pick from Legacy is going to be here, though. We haven't seen Misfortune, I would say, since week 3 or 4 in the OPL.
I think Aegium's the only person that still was really playing it. Is a good counter to Zyra still, but definitely isn't that pick that you can just take into like Malzahar and Karma anymore.
Does really well in this lane matchup. It is a really good support. The Make It Rain slow is absolutely obnoxious to deal with. You get it about 4 or 5 times in a team fight.
Yeah.
And she packs a punch. Does a decent amount of damage. And Legacy, they've taken the kryptonite of Sin so far, which is Orianna.
And that's what I want to talk about, because now all of a sudden, we see that Sin isn't playing as high a tempo. They've got a Victor as opposed to a Syndra. And Legacy have picked a pretty big control style. I mean, I'm expecting top lane to come out, so lots of bans of like I expect maybe a Fiora or a Kennen ban to come out next on the side of Legacy. I expect a tanky-ish jungler like a Lee Sin or a Rengar being picked up here. And then you're just going to play a slow tempo game. You're going to look to teamfight. You've got the big ultimates of the Shockwave, Varus, bullet time as well coming out of Misfortune. Like, this is what Sin has struggled with in the Gauntlet.
It certainly is, and Rogue has been a big factor to Sin's success this entire Gauntlet run. I don't think he's had an incredibly poor game so far. Might have made a couple of mistakes here and there.
He had a couple of sloppy games.
Hasn't run down mid yet.
Yeah, he hasn't. He hasn't done the O special. But I think that the impressive thing about Rogue is that he keeps FBI in check.
Does.
And Rogue's a very aggressive player when he wants to be, but he's not being mindlessly aggressive at the moment. He's winning lanes. He's getting very good routes out of the Zyra.
Now I want to see if this Misfortune pick is going to shut that down, because it is a hard counter to Zyra, and it is picked up by Cupcake and Lost, the strongest bottom lane duo in the OPL.
Yeah, potentially, although they did lose out on bottom lane with some help on Juves last game.
Yep.
We're going to see the Gragas, potentially jungle, potentially top. That doesn't give anything away. Legacy played in both roles.
Does not, and Juves likes to pick it up in the jungle
Juves
as well.
Is napping. I mean, he has had a couple of long days. That is true.
He has. The bans that came out from Sin were Nautilus and Shen, so they're denying a couple of tanks top side of the map from Legacy. Makes sense that Tally wants to pick up the Gragas, which is his next most played tanky champion.
I've just been told that making videos make you tired by our producer. I don't want to hear it, Matt. Videos is easy. You stick in the control room.
Careful, Benji will start to pipe on about getting OV to cast. Kennen and Renekton were the next 2 bans coming out from Legacy, targeted towards Flares, his go-to champions in the top lane. But he does pick up Poppy, a champion that was used to great success in Serenington when they played against the Chiefs, I believe.
Yep.
And the final pick from Legacy, again, is going to be Lee Sin in the jungle. Juice will be taking Kha'Zix this time around.
Yeah, so Juice has defaulted to Kha'Zix quite a bit, actually, prioritizing it over Rengar, prioritizing it over Graves. You can see Carbon doesn't really want anything to do with those two either. Instead, wants to have some form of early pressure.
And there's just... what are you doing, Rogue? There's so much control from Sin heading into this game. Poppy, Victor, Ashe, Zyra, big AoE control champions.
Yep.
And then you've got Kha'Zix, who's just, you know, happy to clean up the stragglers from the side of Legacy.
Well, we've seen a lot of W evolves from Kha'Zix first, which means that you do also have a huge slow, pretty good control yourself, as well as pretty high damage still on isolated targets. So I don't mind Kha'Zix in this comp at all. I think that there's a hazardous approach. If you ever dive in on Rogue and you don't get him, he's going to lay out that ultimate. He's going to make sure he has all the plants available. Not to mention the fact that Poppy already shuts down a lot of Lee Sin and, you know, Gragas engage as well. So I think that Sin's composition is completely fine. They've got some scaling elements as well. Legacy's comp looks much better, looks much more well-rounded. However, Game 1 was a really sloppy affair from Legacy. I mean, if you play that poorly around the map, it doesn't matter what you pick, Fish. Because they weren't defending turrets with their champions.
Nope.
I mean, you can say they didn't have wave clear, but they didn't even have anyone in the lane that was being pushed.
Yeah, losing a turret at 12, your inhibitor at 12 minutes and 20 seconds is always a tough task. That completely shut out Tally for the rest of the game.
Yeah,
he was stuck dealing with super minions.
He was weaker than the super minion. I mean, he had to wait for like cannons to come up and help him out with it. It was just an ugly affair. And, you know, it is Game 1, as I said, Legacy. 3 of their players haven't played in best of 5s in Oath before, so they have to move forward. I mean, Claire actually did play a final, so I can't give it 2 of them then.
And Adrian was saying on the desk when we opened up the show today that Sin, they are a momentum-based team. They could potentially storm onto the Rift in Game 1. They did exactly that. Let's see if that momentum carries over into Game number 2. And to tell us a little bit more about that, let's check in with Sin's coach, Bensel.
Thanks, guys. I'm here with Bensel, and first of all, congratulations on that Game 1 victory. Super quick. But moving into Game 2, you guys banned Fizz this time around. What's up with that? Flares is popping off on it.
Yeah, I think Rumble is an objectively stronger champion at the moment. If you ban Fizz, it kind of forces the Rumble ban if you don't have another counter for Rumble ready, and we don't expect Tally to. So that's the logic of that ban, yeah.
Yeah, super smart. All right, well, moving down into the bottom lane then, Zara and then into Misfortune, which is a traditional, or has been, a kind of a counter the last couple of 6 months or so for that champion. So how do you think Zara's going to go?
I think if you have Ashe with Zyra, it can neutralize that somewhat. We'll probably get pushed in early, as is the way against them F lanes, but at level 6 you have a lot of kill pressure against them.
So squishy.
Yeah. You have the longer range threat of the Ashe ult against the shorter range threat of the Var Assault, so it's a small advantage there.
All right, excellent stuff. We'll see how it plays out. Thank you for speaking to us, and best of luck in the game.
No worries.
There you go. A lot of respect from Bensel towards the drafting that's come out from Legacy, but identifies that he's going to be weak at certain points in the game, and they'll be strong later on. Tally, though.
This is so cheesy.
He's going to be in a little bit of trouble. Juice and Tally going to be able to spot him out. Flares forces the body slam start from the Gragas, already at half health, and Juice will try to take red buff at level 1 here.
Yeah, so you can see that Tally actually doesn't have a ward, so he can't stop it at all. Has already warded the brush, but can't really get in there and I guess, disrupt the jungle pathing coming out of Juice.
Let's see if that's going to help Flares out and how much, because getting down to half health at level 1, forcing to take a body slam, might be the good knife for Tally's lane almost to kick things off. But bottom lane already you can see the power from Lost and Cupcake, Misfortune as well as Varus. Heaps of range advantage over the Ashe and Zyra.
Yeah, but at the same time you can see that Carbon's done the smart thing. He's buff to buff right now. We'll be able to pick up at least 2 of the buffs. Going to go towards Raptor Camp and grab that big advantage there as well. So he's not going to be down and out in this game. It's a good start out of Juice, great idea. However, execution doesn't set Carbon all that far behind.
Nope, it does not. We'll shock him a little bit and interrupt any of the plans he had earlier. I can do just fine as Claire and Ryan are trading in the mid lane. Ryan's happy to trade up against the shield of Orianna.
Especially given the fact that he has heal and Claire only has the cleanse because he is, of course, going into an Ashe. We talked about this a lot yesterday. But as soon as you see Ashe Zyra, you should take cleanse as a mid laner because you're going to be a big target in the mid game.
Especially when AD carry starts to rotate in that first rotation. If you get a good arrow down, oof. Going to open up the map heaps for the team. You can already see Flash just being so aggressive against Tally. Tally does have a potion available. He's one of the few top laners we see go for the Q-Max on Gragas, picking up a lot of rings to compensate for the mana he uses.
But you almost feel like Tally. I mean, he has a passive, but that's more useful late game than it is early game. It's sometimes worthwhile when the lane goes this way to just duck back and get your Corrupting Potion or maybe even a second ring and then come back into lane. It's not really hard pushing against him. But you can see that he is willing to stick at it. It's just that Flares has all of his Corrupting Potion charges still available.
Very cheeky from Flares here, waiting for the W to expire from Tally before going in for a trade, making sure he gets the maximum damage down.
Both top laners actually reading that one really well. Tally didn't burn too much beforehand.
Rogue's going to take a ton of damage here in the bottom lane, forcing a heal out of FBI as well. So bottom lane for Legacy is winning very early in terms of CS, as well as their trading at the moment. Some of the spells are down to Juve, so looking for a gank top side of the map. Tally going to have to be careful. Flares has popped the W. He will jump in, just get some chip damage on towards Tally, force him out of that lane, and Carbon looking bottom side.
Yeah, exactly right. As soon as you see that, you can just start counter jungling. As Ejim said on the desk, the way that you stop this is you don't die to the gank and then you take away farm, because that should mean Juice falls behind. All of a sudden he has absolutely nowhere to go on Summoner's Rift. He's going to go towards his Krug, find that Carbon already took that one away.
Yep.
Danger is if you ever get collapsed upon. So you have to be very careful of where FBI and Rogue are right now.
Rogue is popping his final potion. Carbon has hit level 4. Juves is level 4 himself, and Carbon is going to recall.
A bad recall spot. He's going to have to burn Flash here potentially.
Oh yeah, he does. No wards available for him. So that's Flash burnt. Juves trying to collapse on towards Carbon.
I mean, it's not going to work. But right idea. Chase him out as far as you can. Make sure he has to go all the way back.
Oof. Rogue not having a good time in this lane. Constantly poked out by the Varus as well as Misfortune. Lost and Cupcake working really well together, but only a 2 CS lead for Lost. FBI still has a health potion. It's Rogue who's in a lot of trouble at the moment. Exactly right. So as long as Rogue plays a little bit further back, should be okay. You're not going to win this lane until level 6, as Bensul said. And Ashe Zyra just have a lot of kill threat. I mean, as long as Zyra has a flash available. Ooh, big trades in the mid lane. Claire actually not getting the better end of that one as Roma stands up confidently to the Orianna. Certainly did, and Claire stepped forward into that. Both top laners actually coming back without their teleports, so you can see that that suited Tally a little bit more. He has more wave clear just in his kit, so that's probably going to suit him. Also has Flash Body Slam available right now if he wants to go towards mid lane, try and get a gank going. He's taking a stroll towards mid lane, but that is currently pushed in. Just going to clear out the scrying as well.
And you can see that Juves, let's talk about jungle for a bit, because Juves has got Raptor Camp, which he just took down, and absolutely nothing else available. Gromp just came back up. And you can see that there's 13 CS between him and Carbon, so you're expecting one major camp, or big slam in the wall. We'll talk about that right now, because Tally's actually in trouble in a tank versus tank matchup somehow. Down to half health. He's all right. But the one thing that Juves has done is spent a little bit more time in lane, so the CS is still even. Not CS, experience is still even. See whether that continues to be the case. Oh, Carbon, incredibly low here. Yeah. They know Juves is somewhere inside of this jungle, but he'll just hop back out and continue to just be a pest. So Carbon's doing the right thing. Like you mentioned, farming up. He's 20 CS up, but hasn't been able to get an advantage here. And Cupcake looking for a cheeky gank. And in mid lane, a Shockwave might shock for Ioma. Might be enough for Cupcake to pull the trigger as well. Here they go. Just shows himself, so doesn't get anything for that. I mean, at least you're putting pressure down in a certain part of the map. You can see that right now you don't really need it in bottom lane because FBI gone back with disjointed timings from Rogue, so it's not going to really cost Cupcake all that much. Plus, Strat is absolutely ridiculous for being able to run around the map. You can see that also, given the fact that Cupcake was the one harassing, he's about 400 gold up on his shop, so he goes back and gets himself that Ruby Crystal, so he's going to be slightly tankier. Going to try and get a cheeky snare. Close. Flares top side of the map with Juves, though. Big Wave is pushing in. Carbon's nowhere to be seen. This could be a dive. They decided to execute on it. Still risky to dive a tank. He has got double ring. However, if anyone can do it, it's going to be Poppy. Very tanky at this stage of the game. There's a level up as well. Tally just used his W, so no damage reduction going to be able to come in. Flares looking to take out the turret first. Juves really jumps in. First blood. Easily executed by Sid. Yeah, and all of a sudden, that's a huge creep wave gone. And I feel like we just keep talking about it. I mean, no wards in the lane. Choose. Oh, arrow's going to connect. Cupcake gets locked down. Heal used nice and early. Rogue is still only level 5, though. They pop their own heal very early as Varus uses the ultimate. Yeah, actually a little bit interesting from Rogue. Could have maybe flashed that Carbon now in with level 6. Now spotted him out. Good snare from Rogue. Doesn't kill him, but pushes him back.
Claire still has Shockwave, so Ryoma has to be a little bit careful, but he's pushing Claire out of lane again.
Exactly right, and that's all it comes down to. All of a sudden, he can hold the creep wave there. He might even be able to just hold and get a cheeky recall in. No, lots of mid laners like Fantix and Swift will like to do that. Instead, he's going to clear this one out, has the double rings, maybe doesn't have a valuable shot fish. And he should even be able to make the second one hit turret by the time he gets here. Carbon again stealing away red buff, but really when the top side of the map is in a little bit of trouble, bottom side is the only place you can play to, and Juves knows that and respects it.
It feels like every game so far, Juves has been getting out jungled, so to speak, in terms of jungle camps being taken away by his opponents, but he has been making it work by getting one side of the map ahead.
Exactly right, and he's just prioritizing something else. Carbon's prioritizing taking camps, trying to get to level 6. Juves is prioritizing getting flares in advantage.
Oh, good snare. That's a flash forward. Cupcake's dead.
As I said, you don't want to play MF into Zyra Ashe because they do a lot of damage. I feel like you can play it if the AD carry doesn't have any hard CC, but they'd already pretty much got everything out of Cupcake the first all in. No heal available from Lost means that he falls down this time.
Rogue's just a monster. He's been playing fantastic the entire Gauntlet run. A monster to watch in the bottom lane, and FBI just compliments him so much. They're a little bit shaky when they started to split off together, but synergizing very well now. And Flares, he's 2 levels up over Tally. Carbon is here, so he's got to be very careful. Gonna get knocked out, slams him into a wall, takes him on. The Q will follow through. But Flares, he's happy to turn around and say, let's go, I can fight both of you.
He actually just 2v1 them, and he's actually looking for more still because Juves is coming in.
Oh, that's a nice use of the W. Stopping Tally. Here goes Juves over the wall, gets good damage down, but Carbon's there to get the safeguard going. He's still on the hunt, though.
Yeah, exactly right, but what they're going to do is force him off another big wave. You can see this time around, Legacy had the right things. They had the ward around the wall. They had the ward in the lane, so they knew that Juves wasn't coming at the start. Cupcake stuck mid again and found absolutely nothing. In fact, Ryoma is having a little bit of a chuckle at them, and completely composed, is still even in CS, actually going to be up by 1. And everywhere else on the map just looks like it's going in Sin's favor.
It certainly does. They got about 500 gold in their lead. Bottom lane was a huge advantage for Legacy, but FBI's done a really good job of making sure he's even in CS. And now they've got kill threat bottom lane.
Exactly right.
Rogue
this is what Bensel was talking about. You just have to respect the early game that's going to come out of MF. You have to realize that she's going to outpoke you, that she kills your plants way too quickly. But as you get towards the latter stages of the game, you're always going to be able to blow her up because she's just so squishy. And as an MF player, you have to play up the lane because if you're not playing it to pressure the Zyra, there's just no point picking the matchup. So clashing of styles, and Sin looked very comfortable in that.
So we are checking with the top lane this time around. It's important to note that due to Juve's presence, Tally's forced to use his teleport to get back into lane while Flares still has his. So map advantage currently in Sin's favor, and Flares is winning this lane. You can push it in, duck in the Fog of War, try and get a cheeky teleport play. There are deep wards behind the bottom lane, so they've always got to be careful of that, and Juves is making his way down.
Yeah, and Tally, unfortunately, has had to go full budget roller as well. Triple ring.
Teleport
coming in. There's so many members down here already.
Can't be cancelled. Juves is going to jump in. They're going in. Rogue is going to die first, though. Big ultimate's coming in. Lost has been locked down with Cupcake. Both of them at half health.
Is this a mistake? There's only 3 members here. They're going hard onto FBI.
He's in trouble. Gets taken down, but can Sin pick up more kills for it? Carbon's in a bit of trouble. Lost is running into a minion wave, and Juves should be able to pick up that kill. So the minions will slowly take him down, but a little bit of botched attempt too early from the Sin's bottom lane, and they just trade bot lane for bot lane.
Certainly wasn't. That's what I said. Rogue is very aggressive. Sometimes he goes too early. That was one of those times, and all of a sudden, Tally gets a big reprieve top lane. In fact, he's going to be able to pick up so much CS underneath this turret. Also get a little bit of chip damage. So Legacy at least trade evenly in what was the first big macro call out of Sin. And as you said, it could have gone better, but still okay.
It was okay, but that was just way too early from Sin.
Yeah, that should have been 2 kills, maybe even 3 kills for absolutely nothing in a turret. Instead, it's just a 2 for 2, and they lose a lot of damage top.
Because when you go from that play, you still have to respect. Yes, top laner can't get there. Mid laner, we can see him. But the jungler's going to be around here. Even if he's not, you've got to expect him to be, so you play that play differently. But still, Sin just lose about 200 gold of their gold lead.
That's also how you defend that play. You know, we talk about it a lot. Hard commit one direction. And in that case, it was towards the squishy members. They didn't want to go towards the tank that was teleporting in. So as you can see here, they hard commit onto Rogue. And then as soon as they see more members coming down, the call is FBI right now. All 3 members start going forward. In fact, they use summoner spells to pick up the kill. Carbon actually lives here because Flares doesn't want to keep diving underneath the turret. course, Lost will still go down. Carbon in the mid lane. Throws one high, wide, not very handsome.
Roma sitting pretty in the middle lane as well. More than happy to go toe-to-toe against Claire. Flair's now got some work cut out for him because Tally is going to get his teleport back first. Flares has ways to cancel that, but that means he's got to continue pushing in against this Gragas.
Also, given the fact that Tally also just does so much magic damage at this stage of the game, and Flares has gone with the Sunfire Cape first.
His clear is just fantastic as well. He's actually maxing W this game.
Yep. Strange that he maxes W with a triple ring start.
Lee Sin's here. Be careful. But Rogue and Ryoma going to just step up, see what they can do against this wave. Misfortune Z is just pretty disgusting to deal with.
Certainly is. However, they do clean it out, but still a lot of chip damage one more time going across. So you have to start worrying about turrets if you are Sin, because if one of them falls, they're a little bit like dominoes. Then the duo lane starts rotating all around the map and knocking them down.
Oof. Tally's just really oppressive once he's got his triple Doran's ring available. Flares seems impossible for him to trade anymore against this Gragas. Every time his passive's up, that's 100 health that Tally gets back, and his wave clear is obnoxious.
Yeah, it certainly is, and this is kind of why Gragas is, ooh, great.
Big arrow, stun onto Cupcake, pops the bullet time, but that's damage dealt. He will flash out of it, lives to tell the tale. The final plant auto attack is not enough.
Just lives to tell the tale, but still heal as well as flash burnt. Is that now an indefensible turret? Lived on 12 health. And Rogue could have just flashed in there for a cheeky ignite or auto attack. Didn't decide to, so you can see playing a little bit more reserved.
Save some of the spells. Might be crucial if Tally comes in for a teleport gank later.
Agree.
Let's watch and see if that pays off. I mean, a kill, 300 gold, great, but an objective, even better. Might as well save that for that.
Exactly right. You can see that now, because Carbon isn't actually in. Oh,
he's on Ryoma. That's going to be a kill picked up by Legacy's jungler with the assistance of Claire, who almost would have fallen to the Chaos Storm.
Yeah, exactly right. I mean, you've got to give credit to Carbon. We were talking about bottom lane being pushed in, but has the eyes on the prize, needs to get the Orianna ahead. So makes a good call to go mid lane, and now as a duo, they can rotate bottom.
This is dangerous. If Carbon gets in behind this bottom lane duo, Tally's got teleport. Flares is almost back up, but not quite. And you can see the respect from Sin. They back out. They can't see anyone on the map, so they decide we're going home.
Exactly right. And you can see one more time, even though teleport's available, gank the teleport. Juves knows exactly where he needs to be on the map. They're pinging it out already.
They might be able to get this. Top side of the map. Gragas has been jumped on by Kha'Zix. So let's have a look and see what's happening to Tally. He's supposed to use the ultimate, but bottom lane's where we're looking at.
Exactly right. So now they're going to have a base race here for a little bit of turret damage. It looks like they...
Ooh, this is going to be close. Juves does do a lot of damage, but it should be bottom lane that falls first. Carbon's going to be able to pick that one up with the rest of Legacy. So first brick for Legacy. Sin still equalized one turret for one, but now Legacy have a slight gold lead for themselves.
Exactly right. And you have to say that the pace of the game is a little bit slower.
Is this cheeky?
It certainly is. They still have a ward down there, and Tally can teleport if he wants. Here he goes.
Rogue spots them out. Carbon jumps in. Good flash away from the queue. Now Carbon might be a sitting duck. As teleport is coming in from Flares. He's going to be able to get in the back line. Tally is here already. FBI's got to be very careful. Good body pop, but a slam into the wall. Carbon goes in, brings Rogue with him. As look at the kiting from FBI. Picks up that kill. Ejection goes out towards Cupcake as he's knocked away. Flares is still trying to fight this one. Juves is nowhere to be seen in this fight. But that's just a 1-for-1 trade. Sorry, 1-for-2 trade.
2-for-1, yeah. So Carbon goes down, but the kick onto Rogue means that they are able to secure a second. Could have used it to execute FBI. However, wanted the second kill for his team. But still a lot burnt there. Ooh, Flares. Just trying to be cute and cancel a couple of backs. He's actually playing in the Poppy very well. 20 CS up.
Juve's going to get Shockwave here. His #1 natural enemy, which we've seen many times in the Gauntlet.
Certainly have. He's looking for the ward that gave him away. There was a couple in that area. Don't think he's going to find them all.
This is a much more even game for Legacy, but still not what we expect from them going up against Sin. We expect this to be a pretty much one-sided affair.
I mean, everyone expects different things when it comes to Sin. I've learned that over the last couple of days. I mean, they didn't have the most consistent season. In fact, they were losing games against teams below them. Lost 2 against AV. Picked up 2 versus Legacy. The other games they lost were against Chiefs and Direwolves. They didn't look great against Abyss when they played them. However, when they're in the main event, when they're like here to actually play, when it matters, they're able to step up. They secured themselves 4th, and now they're fighting for 2nd right now, Fish, and potentially a date with Direwolves next week for the grand final.
I mean, they've secured themselves as a top 3 team to finish Split 1 of 2017. Let's see if they're going to be able to take more. They're already a game up in this best of 5 series, and this game looking very even. Going to come down to team fights, and both these teams look like they have very strong team fights going into the mid game, but Juice has found Carbon. That's a lot of execution damage.
Just missed.
It does actually hit Cupcake in the mid lane, but they dive onto Roma. They burst him immediately. Will trade 1-for-1 as the jungler gets taken down by Flares in the back line. Knocks Lost back. He's going to flash out. Bullet time from Cupcake separates the rest of Sin as they wait for that ultimate to expire. The knockout comes through. Shockwave only connected with FBI as the W from Poppy, not enough to stop the body slams coming in. Lost, the sniper, gets one for himself. Flares is still trying to stay alive in the back lines. The minions are hitting the Poppy, but he will live, and Legacy get the better end of that trade.
Yeah, fantastic little team fight for Legacy there. Although now, oof, that was a close one. You can see the blinking health bars. It's 1 for 2. Carbon did fall down. However, they get the turret for themselves. So first real gold, 2,000 in the advantage of Legacy right now. They have a turret up. No one's really even looked at Dragons.
No Chaos Storm using that fight. Roma was just CC locked the entire time.
Yep.
Could potentially be a different story there. But Cupcake really good with his ultimate, separating Sin, giving so much time for Legacy to get chip damage on the front line of Sin.
I mean, let's take another look at it. That arrow was aimed for Carbon. They thought he was going to ward hop away. And the right calls made. They just go very strong onto Ryoma, lock him up. As you said, doesn't get the ultimate down. Then a little bit of questionable target selection starts to happen here. Everyone kind of piling into the tanks at the start of it. And really nice shockwave there, just separates the team fight. It means no one can come forward. It only hits FBI, but it chunks him out enough. And then Lost, just fantastic with those Qs, as you mentioned. And Flares even has to burn summoner spells to get out. So ultimately, Legacy just played that one a little bit cleaner.
And now they're ahead. They're 1,500 gold up ahead of Sin. Very comfortable sitting in the mid lane now, looking for even more advantage. But Flares, he's jumped on top of Lost. He's got no flash, and Juice with the evolved W slows him down. The corruption.
Carbon is here.
The corruption from Varus will keep him locked down so he can't follow onto Cupcake. But that's a good pick for Sin.
Certainly is. I mean, it's one against the Tide as well. Top lane turret was so low, we said that they start falling like dominoes. Instead, they get the bottom lane turret on side of Sin, as well as a kill. So they bring it back within 900 gold.
Roman's now bottom side of the map, split pushing against a Gragas.
Makes sense. He's pretty much...
Oh, you're in trouble. The Poppy is just going to keep hammering it down. Ultimate use. Does he have to charge? Good flash from Cupcake. Going to be able to get him out.
Carbon looking to clean him up.
Bullet time coming out there. Just stops a bit longer. Is he trying to die to the misfortune? Yes, he is. Won't give Carbon any assist there.
Exactly right. So no assist going down, but Claire good enough to hold mid lane turret solo.
He forced his flash and cleanse there, so that should be an Ash Arrow connecting.
Yep. Definitely right, Fish. Good catch.
And let's see if FBI continues pushing. For now, we have Varus stationed top side of the map. As you mentioned, that top lane outer is very low and an easy objective for Legacy to pick up and increase their lead. They're about 1,500 gold ahead still.
You can see that Serrated Dirk picked up by Cupcake. Interesting. Normally we see Black Cleaver as well as Last Whisper picked up. Serrated Dirk's a weird one. I don't feel like flat penetration all that good on support MF.
He's got his Kindle Gem, so maybe just looking for a spike of damage.
They're going for a turret dive into Claire here.
That's a big teleport. It's not spotted at all as Rogue flashes forward, but Claire instantly pops in with the shockwave. They're trying to go for this. Claire's going to be taken down nice and easy. Sin get a dragon as well. Going to push for mid lane turret, but what a play from Claire to react to that one.
Yeah, really nicely done from Claire. He does pick up the support. I feel like you do not actually need the teleport there if that's the call, although Carbon in a little bit of trouble.
Down to half health already. They're going to tackle up Tally to give FBI some room to take down this turret. Carbon's coming in the back lines, kicks Ryoma. He's CC locked, but trying to turn this one around. There they go. That's a dead Victor again. No Chaos Storm being used, and Flares has to get the heal to get him back up to the speed. Carbon looking to try and dash in here, get the kill onto Flares as well. Legacy playing these fights near perfect.
He's just not dying. Oh, Flares nearly took Carbon down with him again. He was on underneath 100 health. But that's a second time that Ryom has died. Summoner spells available as well as the ultimate Fish just cannot get it off in these team fights because Tally every time is just body slam into the cast. Really confident throws there. Not letting any gap in between the combo.
Nope. Gives Legacy a 3,000 gold lead, and Ryoma not having his game this time round. He is 1,500 gold behind Claire, so that's half the gold lead that Legacy have at the moment.
And Legacy looks sharper. As I said, it's kind of that intensity thing when it comes to playoffs. You have to be able to play at a higher level than you expect during the regular season. Sin caught the Chiefs off guard with it yesterday, caught Legacy off guard with it today. But now they have to go back to the grind. And they've been here for 3 days already.
They have.
They know that best of 5 is hard work. So they didn't expect this one to come any easier than the ones on Friday or Saturday.
Let's see if they're able to pull this one back, but Legacy looking a lot stronger.
Arrow is available. Cupcake stepping very far forward there.
Tally is close by though, so Legacy are very confident in this play if they make it.
Problem is that if you get arrowed, you die very quickly if anyone's in support.
Poppy's bottom lane though, no teleport available for Flares, so that'd be a numbers advantage for Legacy. Trying to collapse here. They don't see Rogue, but the snare does not connect. They're still going for this one. Legacy fancy a fight. Tally shows himself. That should be no-go for Sin without their Poppy.
You can see that they back away. They just wanted to pick onto Carbon. Weren't really willing to burn anything major for it and start a team fight. So instead, now have to respond to the Flares split push.
Flares going to get body boxed in the bottom lane there. As he's still a level above Tally, but they're just massive tanks now. This long gone are the good trade from these two as they just equally share damage and tank damage at the same time. Arrow splits the wickets as Carbon and Lost go side to side.
Nice ult.
Reimer's dead again here. He pops the ultimate this time round, but it's all for nothing. Tally now trying to collapse. Good W from Flares. Means that Tally can't
Flares
flash
coming
on
in from the left-hand side. Watch the Orianna.
Flares got to be careful. Knocks out Ori, so that's a good target there. Means Legacy can't chase as effective, but Ryoma stepping so far forward time and time again.
Yeah, exactly right. So Ryoma gets picked off, having a very poor game, 0-4 at the moment. Not really getting anything done for his team. He's half of their deaths.
Still have some great poke though.
More. He's a third of their deaths. Sin have, they have fairly decent poke, but it's not really all that sticky when you have Blade of the Ruined King as well as Gragas passive.
Just noticing as they were disengaging. Backline of Legacy were losing half their health over and over again. But AD carries are kind of equal right now in terms of items. Lost is going to get a quick buy-in here with 2 extra kills, 3 extra assists. You should expect him to be slightly ahead.
Yep.
QSS already picked up, so that's going to deny Ash Arrow.
Such a good item when you're ahead, especially if you're ahead the exact amount of gold. I mean, it just means that now you don't have to worry about Ash Arrow, you don't have to worry about a Rogue Zyra snare either.
You're not sacrificing damage.
Yeah, exactly right, because you're still even. Although, FBI goes back and gets himself a Hex Drinker.
The same
amount of gold.
AD carry is very even here.
I actually really like this build. I was talking about it yesterday. I don't go Hurricane, I go Phantom Dancer a lot at the moment, because I feel like as an AD carry, I'm just useless and I don't get 3 bolts across people. Obviously, they're much better than me at this game, so that's probably why they go Hurricane. But Hex Drinker into more at this stage just feels so impactful.
Yep.
You're able to survive the burst and then just turn around and turret people to death.
And when you have Blade of the Ruined King, that's already 1 lifesteal item.
Yeah.
Getting more
Lifeline comes online.
Oof.
Boom. Laughing.
Now Ward here is going to be able to spot out FBI, so Legacy know exactly the movements of this AD carry. They're trying to group up towards the Baron Pit. They've still got a 3,500 gold lead to work with Legacy. Lots of that is on towards Claire, who has about half the lead. Reimer really needs to step up in these fights. If he can live through the initial burst, it might be a completely different fight for Sim, because they're still training even, losing Reimer at the start without using ultimate.
Exactly right. And Reimer actually just needs to be able to get a couple of spell rotations out. I understand that he wants to be aggressive at this stage, but, 1 or 2 spell rotations with the ultimate dropped is definitely the difference.
And Claire's having a great game on this Orianna.
As is Tally, actually, for an early, couple of ganks going up in his lane. Has been able to definitely turn it around.
Just a game of footsies here, it seems, between Sin and Legacy. The call is to send Ryoma top to continue clearing up the waves, whereas Legacy just grouping up as 5, trying to catch anyone from Sin in a bad position.
See whether we trade a Baron positioning here for a Dragon.
Or do they collapse on towards the Poppy? Ryoma's not here, so even if they try to take down Poppy, that's big, but Hawkshot spots him out immediately. Tally's going to get sped up, and Legacy charge on towards the rest of Sin. Now we just find, though, they disengage towards the bottom side of the map, and Ryoma taking the safe route back towards the lane.
Air Drake, of course, just proving the big difference there, Fish. Gives them the movement speed they need to successfully disengage.
The gravity field from Ryoma will lock up some minions here. Legacy retreat into Fog of War. They might have to send someone to deal with Flares, who is continuing his split push attempts. There are some good wards from Legacy, from Sin, in the mid lane. So if Legacy do push out far enough, Poppy could get a good teleport flank.
Yeah, definitely agree. However, what they're looking for is, you know, swapping a little bit of positioning for the second dragon. They want to keep stacking that one up, making sure that if it does come to a late game team fight, you know, they have the Elder to threaten. Sometimes it's just about having an extra area to threaten over. Obviously, they're not sitting there thinking air drakes, yes, we must collect these because they're going to unlock a slate game. Oh, that's a mountain though. So that's better.
Mountain Dragon picked up by Juice. Nice and easy, actually. Legacy no wards to spot this one. And while they're recalling as well, Flair's now looking for blue buff. Carbon's on the wrong side of the map. Tally picks it up, though. Away from 2 members of Sin.
Yeah, Juice didn't have Smite available.
Does deny Claire his blue buff. So we'll have to see if the Carbon can take his away. He's looking to try and stop right over here.
This is risky. When you go over the wall, obviously you can W out, but he uses it. Oh, got it.
Just goes for the smite. Easy steal. I'm a little bit upset with that.
Generally, you pull it into a brush, so he can't do that. He has to use his Q as well. Then you can just turn around and output a lot of damage into him if you would like to.
But fairly quiet now between Sin and Legacy. Legacy will be comfortable. 4,000 gold up is no laughing matter.
And it has quietly grown. I mean, they've been able to clear out much more wards around the Baron area.
So it's 1,000 for the 80 carry. Lost. Mid lane's actually caught up. Only 1,000 going in favor of Orianna. Jungle is dead even, about 300 in their favor. Top lane's still in favor of Sin. So it's actually Cupcake.
Yeah, Cupcake. 4-2 and 4. Absolutely
2,000
popping
gold.
up.
Oh, he's got his Black
available
Cleaver
right now, and Claire is top lane. They've pinged it out.
There are big wards though. There's the arrow trying to look for Cupcake. Doesn't connect, so Sin might just disengage. There are a lot of wards behind Sin. They've got to be careful because a big fight can come out from Tally. And they're picking out to move towards the Baron side of the map. Arrow still down. Not even a quarter of the cooldown has been refunded. Tubes jumps over a wall. Legacy looking to collapse, and these two teams playing on a knife edge right now, Spawn.
They certainly are, and you know, the first person to blink probably going to fall down. You can see that really only Flares is the member on Sin that is comfortable cheating through any kind of fog of war. Everyone else needs to be careful.
Big play from Legacy though, pushing in towards mid lane in a turret. They're going to slam up Tally here. Flares will get some damage, but the return comes in. That's a big shockwave into bullet time, and Legacy are going to obliterate the 1-by-1. Ryomo,
Chaos Storm.
Huge Chaos Storm. Can they get anything from it, though? Legacy have low health bars, but they've already lost their support.
Potential teleport is going to come out. You can see the pings already going down. He's got home guards, and he would be in on the back line. However, do they pull the trigger? They know Legacy's going towards Baron, but can you actually stop it?
They've got to try. I mean, you can't give up the Baron for free. There's that scrying of everyone now from the rest of Sin are running in towards this. Teleport's coming in. Baron already at half health. Legacy have to be careful. You can see they peel off. They're trying to go for a fight. Juve's going to get tagged up by Carbon, but is he dead? Carbon's going to be the first one to fall in this fight as FBI chases on down. The rest of Sin now going to collapse. Claire is low. Big heal from FBI, but Lost takes it down. Double kill for FBI. Tally is stuck between 3 members of Sin and gets pummeled to the ground by the Poppy Hammer.
What a great team fight out of Sin. Backs against the wall. FBI comes up huge. Trades his life for 2, and now with the jungler dead, they're going to turn onto the objective.
Rogue is coming. Cupcake's ultimate is going to come up shortly. Lost is trying to snipe people out, but the Q doesn't deal too much damage with attack speed items. Sid looking for Baron. It's getting low. Juice will smite this one away. Flares is now looking for the re-engage. Juice flashes on forward. Bullet time is going to deter them from going any further forward. Flash burnt by Lost, but Sid have Baron.
Yeah, and they get a summoner spell as well as the ultimate. Juve's actually just hopped over that wall, so burns absolutely nothing. They secure the Baron. And this game, which was sitting so nicely for Legacy, that were just slowly building up their league, they make one aggressive call, Baron right now, and it comes back, bites them in the ass, and now they're back to square one.
And I mean, that fight almost looked like Sin knew that they won't go towards the Baron, and when they saw it, like, this is stupid from Legacy. Let's kill them.
Yeah, and Carbon just overcommits, and then all of a sudden, FBI picks up one. And then it's just able to continue to walk forward. This is what Adrian was talking about being a turret. He just keeps walking forward. He's not even trying to cut anyone out. He just knows that he has a lot of damage at this stage of the game. And then obviously Tally is just being CC'd by everyone. So he can't get that done. And you can see it going towards his Maw as well as the Last Whisperer right now.
He's got to be careful though. Everyone from Legacy is piling in down on towards the bottom lane.
At what cost? I mean, you've got 4 members running up mid.
Ooh, FBI. He's stuck, throws out the arrow, just going to try and stand and deliver, but there's no one there to save him. Almost takes Carbon down with him, though.
Exactly right, and all of a sudden, no empowered recall. Top lane is absolutely massive. Mid lane's got Baron empowered minions. This actually might just be one person dead for a turret trade in top lane, which is still not a good trade for Legacy right now.
They're going to be able to get back there in time. I believe Home Guard is active, and I don't think Sin want to take a fight 4-on-5.
Definitely not. They do have Lich Bane here, and turret is quite low.
So we'll get some good damage, but Legacy say, we got to fight you straight away.
Good
The ultimate's
ulti.
being thrown by Lost. Flares taking a lot of damage from the Black Cleaver. He's knocked back into the
Whoa.
team. That's another kill for Legacy.
What a great ulti out of Tally. He really is having something of a game right now. You could see that Rogue's ulti was also really good in that team fight. What happened is it just split Tally from everyone else. Tally marched forward and got the perfect keg. However, Rogue tried his best to deter.
Big shot calling from Legacy, no. Pig off FBI, get back to base, stop them taking turrets. That delays Baron buff. They might only have a quarter left to work with everyone from Sin up. Maybe not even that, because Flares is down for 30 seconds.
Exactly right, and he doesn't have teleport available, so you're right. Really nice shot calling there. Thought it might have been an overreach to send 3 people into the bottom lane, but Sin didn't have minion waves prepped. And now they're in behind Ryoma as well. This could just be another pick-off.
Oh, he's going to throw down the gravity field, try and cut someone off. Puts the ultimate down to Carbon. He's taking so much damage. Roma's going to die here. No Zhonya's available for him, and Legacy picking apart Sin piece by piece.
Exactly right. That's 3 back-to-back picks as Sin are trying to control their minion waves and just overextending without vision control and getting absolutely punished.
Roma's not having his game right now, 0-5-2.
That certainly is not.
So, Legacy going to try and push against the flow. Baron buff still available for Sin for maybe a wave or 2.
They've got some big tanks and they've got Shockwave available.
Oh, they're trying to burst down Flares again. Using everything on towards this Poppy. He lives, though, and is able to back out alive. Legacy not going to take too much damage for that one. Lost going to get chipped out slightly. Baron buff minions are now going to finally rotate in. Flares teleport is almost back up and available. There are some wards for him to teleport to, but they're in vision of Legacy. One deep ward in Baron Pit. Decides not to go for it. Tally throws out the ultimate. Good flash from FBI. Gets him back to safety. No arrow available, but Drew's trying to jump on in. Sin saying, all right, we can try to take this fight. That's a flash forward. Lost. He's got 7 kills. A big target for Sin if they can find him. They're trying to escape. Tally's able to slow down the rest of Sin. And that's going to be the end of that fight right there.
Certainly is. You can see that they're just being sped up. Air Drake will kick in, but it's not going to be enough to continue to chase through MF, Dissonance, everything else that's hitting. Big wave bottom means that they are getting some damage onto a turret right now for Sin. And Ryom has also gone mid lane to push up a second wave.
They've got to be careful, though, because there are some big wards for Tally to teleport to.
They're way too far behind.
Let's see what Sin can do.
I mean, behind the flow, not behind actually in gold. Just you can't run that far on a teleport play. That's a better ward.
Yeah, they're going for it. Might catch them off. They find it. Stops the teleport. Gravity field was there, and they were ready to burst down the tank if they need. So Sin
What
now.
a heads-up ward out of Ryoma, though.
Yep.
I mean, someone that's not having the best game, able to completely nail that one.
Carbon's caught out by Rogue. Slammed to the wall by Flares. Already at half health. Legacy now fighting on 2 fronts as Tally and Carbon team up. The rest of the rookies sitting on the right side of the map.
And top lane is pushing in. All of that damage already done. So you can see 2 fronts again. Looks like it's stacking up. So potentially going to fall.
Turret's at 9 health as well. So
Ryoma
Legacy
got
have to
caught.
fight away.
Goodbye.
Ryoma's caught. He's dead again. The mid laner from Sin getting pummeled time and time again. Carbon's going to be able to flash out. Juice jumps in aggressive. Lost lives to tell the tale as well. That's a double kill for Cupcake.
Certainly is. So Cupcake going absolutely nuts. Tally still wants more, although this is an overcommit.
Yeah, Flare's now going to try and pin him against the wall. FBI doing as much damage as he possibly can. Tally will take a sip from his keg, heal back up quite a bit of health. Rogue trying to tag him with the snares. And Ryoma's really having a tough game here, Spawn.
And he had flash available again, I'm pretty sure, Fish. So just overstepping time and time again. You can see the top lane wave hit the turret and bounce back so they don't lose either turrets right now, Legacy. And by the skin of their teeth, still hold this gold lead. And we're getting towards completed item builds.
So, Victor, although Ryoma's not having a good game, 0-6-2. 320 CS, he's ahead of Claire in CS. Just sold his blasting one to pick up. No, he's got it back.
Yeah.
He's going for the Void Staff instead. Has 3 completed items with perfect X-Core. If he lands a good Chaos Storm and a good Laser, that's it. That's all he has to do in a team fight.
I mean, he did hit Lost with both of them. It's just that Lost has double MR items, which is probably why he's going for a Void Staff. But you're
Rogue's
right.
getting one as well.
Should be easier. Rogue might be going for Rylai's. also builds out of those 2 items.
Cupcake 7, 2, and 8. He hurts. He's got a Black Cleaver.
Oh, he's a monster.
Mortal Reminder.
Arguably does more damage than his AD carry.
Dustblade's coming out soon as well as Legacy look to try and separate
Flash
them. That's a
forward.
flash forward from Lost. Bullet time. FBI's locked down. Nothing they can do. That is an aggressive play from the Kiwi sniper.
And that just might be Baron, because 15 seconds left. You cannot fight without an AD carry at 40 minutes into the game. There's just so much of your DPS, and they're looking for another pick. If it's going to be the Zyrus overstepping, Rogue needs to be very careful here.
No QSS available for FBI, no Mikhails because it's a damage-based support, and they're going for it. Poppycopter misses. Legacy still trying to hunt them down. Baron buff is now live. 29 seconds on Lost. Sorry, FBI to respawn. What's the call here, Spawn? Did they just decide to push mid, sack Baron?
They go Baron. I mean, on the side of Sin, no, you have to try and stop this. So they're going to bring everyone in. Juve's probably just going to look for a steal.
5,000 health.
Shockwave is available.
They do have a ward over the top. No control ward to
They
deny
stop
vision.
damage again.
They stop damage, but they haven't disengaged fully. Now Baron's going to regenerate a lot of its health. Good gravity field. Flares knocked in. Big ultimate from Rogue as well. Keep them locked down. Ryoma Pup went off in this team fight, and it's about time as Legacy have to retreat with the tail between their feet.
I mean, they can just commit to Baron. If they take the 50-50 and they dive into the pit, you're going to be better suited for the fight. All of a sudden, it's actually going to be Sin that start this one up.
Dignitas, is that to you? Because Sin might be gifted the second Baron of this game. Legacy looking to try and fight, but with everyone so low, it's going to be difficult. Tally is teleporting back in. Carbon over the pit, low on health. Do Sin back out. Bullet time's going to go wide. Big Arrow's going to come out. They chase down the jungler. He's dead. Juves is back into the pit.
You got to give it up.
No smite contest going to come out. Shockwave will kill Ryoma, but Baron buff going over towards Sin again.
Really nicely played out of Sin. They prioritized the jungler who was on no health because of the last team fight. They jump in, get the objective, and get the heck out of dodge. Carbon, 1-4-14, had a very impressive early game, but in the team fights isn't looking all that great.
He had his hands up after that fight as if to say what happened. He did not understand, it seemed, how Legacy were able to give that one out. Oh.
And it was just Ryoma standing over the wall the first time around. They prioritized flares, couldn't blow him up, and then Ryoma actually got his damage out this time. And he's got his Void Staff as well, going towards what could be QSS, potentially GA. Abyssal? I don't feel like Abyssal's a good item.
QSS picked up by FBI is huge, though.
Yep.
They can't lock him down anymore.
Yeah, no more flash forward onto him.
And like we were mentioning, Rogue is a damage-based support. He almost has his own Void Staff. Cupcake though in this Misfortune. That was the one team fight where he didn't get a good bullet time off. And it's the one team fight that Legacy have really lost.
Yep. Completely agree. 83 CS, 8, 2, and 9. He's got 3 damage items as well to his name.
I mean, even his Sidestone, whew, that gives you some damage on your ENR as well.
Let's not go nuts. Hasn't got all that much magic penetration.
No, he does not. You see that he no longer does any damage to flares.
So they've actually just burnt QSS accidentally.
Whoops. No one saw that.
Has a Knight's Vow for
it's on
FBI.
FBI.
Yeah,
So
that's smart.
12% damage reduction for FBI.
And we talk about this a lot. If you want to build damage on your support, someone else has to be willing to pick up the supportish items.
Yep. It's a big item to pick up. Surprised we don't see 2 in competitive play all the time now. Legacy now trying to defend against a massive mini wave. You can see Ryoma playing so different already, all the way back. He has no flash available, so has to be very careful still. A body bot from Tally means he's dead. But Sin, happy to let this one push in. They've got bottom wave pushing.
Yep.
It's slow, but that turret's already so low.
And it's going to pile up very quickly. Flares actually takes a lot of damage.
That's an arrow lands on Cupcake. Not the best target, and Juice has been locked down by the ultimate. He's going to get knocked into the team. Does have Guardian Angel, but still alive. Shockwave only on the flares, as well as the bullet time. Sin are laughing at the moment because that's big ultimates burnt by Legacy.
Certainly is, and they haven't really used all that much. Arrow is down, but everything else still available. You can see that FBI still wants to play.
They've just got to wait for health on flares, health on Juves. He's trying to go into the jungle to regenerate some for himself. Still has Guardian Angel. That's big for them, but Legacy might have done enough to stop this push a while longer. Ultimate from Flares trying to knock people out. Going for that turret push. They do get it. So Sin get what they came for, and bottom lane is massive.
Yeah, exactly right. All of a sudden, you potentially are going to pick up a 2-for-1 deal on the turrets. Baron doesn't really seem to be all that much against these control mages at this stage of the game.
They got it.
However, equalization of gold, 42 minutes in. Whew. And it was a Rylai's. As I said, Rogue just wants control over the fights. I feel like it's about getting Tally in front of the rest of his team, zoning out everyone else with the ultimate, and then making it impossible for them to run through.
You see Cupcake's gone for a pickaxe as his last item. No slots for pink wards here.
That's the IE.
Oof, that's going to hurt. Eventually, you just sell the Sights and say, Tally, pick one up.
Yeah,
I can't do this anymore.
Get yourself the rapid fire cannon.
I'll just go wild at this point. Get a Yoma's full lethality. This loss might be in some trouble here. Flair's looking to try and collapse. Gets Carbon instead against a wall.
He's in trouble.
That's a big burst of damage from Lost, as well as the ultimate being burned. He flashes out, doesn't die to the Q. Rogue has been caught though, throws out the ultimate. Shockwave misses. That's big. Ryoma though, kicked it to the team. Legacy pick up a kill. Carbon pays for it with his life, and Tally will actually knock FBI away. Jude's trying to get the snipe kill. Cupcake over the wall, does so much damage. They're trying to get the Poppy into the fight. Juice comes back up and he is alive. Guardian Angel for the Gragas will get knocked into a wall again, and FBI, the moving turret, picks up another kill.
3 for 2 coming through for Sin again, and they thought that they had won the fight because they forced Flares out, but with the teleport able to rejoin. Hats off to Lost, however. We talk about turrets a lot. That kiting was absolutely beautiful. Late game Kha'Zix trying to jump on his head, but he just kites him out, kites him out. You can see that Flares, he's tanky enough to take a couple of turret shots. They want this one fish.
Oh, he can take all the turret shots in the world at the moment. Sin, break the base. Inhibitor is now down. Poppycop is going to be firing up from Flares. 8 seconds on Claire. They've got to be very quick. Tally does have teleport, but he's 30 seconds away. And Sin will get the first inhibitor of this match.
And they've just turned the game on their head. Late game composition. Poppy is just so useful, and this is where Gragas arguably does fall off, has the CC, but not really all that much damage. And Lee Sin, he's just a kick. Carbon got a good one that fight, booted Ryoma into the team.
He needs those every single fight now, though.
Yeah, but that's what you are. You're a kick bot. I mean, he's going to get a GA, he's going to respawn, but you can already see he's resigned himself. He's picked up a locket. Let's take a look at this again. He starts it off, Flares just gets chunked out, and they're like, we can fight. But Flares gets back to safety far enough that he's going to teleport back in. Rogue flashes the ulti, and that's the kick I'm talking about. Potentially teamfight saving. But then he falls down, and look at Lost on the back end here. Just beautiful kiting, back and forward. Jubes is going to pop his GA because of that, but unfortunately for Legacy fans, Flares then has enough time to rejoin the fight, zones away the other 2 members, goes for the big body slam and picks up the final kill.
Some interesting notes is because QSS was used by Flares accidentally, he didn't have it that fight, forced the flash, couldn't get out of the Varus ultimate.
Yep.
Lived by next to nothing, and there was a Q coming out from Varus to hit all 3 procs
Yep.
of his blighted quiver, and that would have killed him. No GA was available for Poppy at that time. That would have been a different team fight for Legacy.
Completely different team fight. Potentially that's Lost and Cupcake, the 280 carries just running over the top.
Big flash from Jubes as well. He got out of the shockwave with it. Allowed him to live through the fight and continue to push for Sin. Sin are now going to try and barrel down the top side of the map. Legacy actually a little bit out of position here. Sin could try and rush this one.
Yeah, they certainly could. I mean, they were trying to push mid lane out as far as they possibly could. See, Tally has got there in time, but that's a lot of damage.
Yeah, that turret is incredibly low. Flare's looking to try and jump in and throw the buckler at it as well. Standing on top of the gravity field. Carbon will take some shots from the plants. Now Sin are going to be careful. There is a big minion wave bottom, and Elder Dragon is up and online.
And what you have to look for right now is, oh, not that.
Again, Juice gets out of the shockwave. That's a big ability burnt by Claire.
And that's what I was going to say. You have to look for how Sin are able to navigate their way around Claire's shockwave. Because in the past, they haven't been good at it. Now he's just burnt their biggest teamfight ultimate as Baron is respawning.
And they're in the pit. That's a Kha'Zix trying to take down Baron with Blade of Ruin King, with a Victor. Legacy got to try and look for these fights, but there is no teleport, no shockwave available. There is going to be a turret taken to the bottom side of the map by Legacy's minions.
They've done the do-si-do. They want top lane. They absolutely do not care about the objective right now. They want the second inhibitor. Legacy are out of position.
Claire's shockwave halfway down through cooldown. Tally does get here in time, holds the minion wave off the turret crucially. Massive minion wave is pushing bottom side of the map for Sid. Flares does not have his teleport yet, but it is up soon and he's going back to base.
So they actually pull off on the call. Thought that they could have potentially pushed for it, Fish, but they say no. We're not going to rush this one. We've put in 47 minutes of hard work. And this might be the game that breaks Legacy if they're able to pick it up. So you can see Sin, they're just going to play it out nice and slow.
There's no teleport for Flares. If Legacy have timed this right. They could try and rush Baron now if
I
people
mean,
go
it's
back
like
to base.
10 seconds. Timing it within 10 seconds is such a gamble.
They're doing the same. This is the same brush Legacy have hit in most of this game and trying to run out through mid lane. Seem they're kind of used to that now. Haven't fallen from the trap yet. Shockwave back up and available, but Claire low on mana. Do they try and charge Flares here? They do. He's going to run away.
The problem is he's just so damn quick, and I don't think you blow him up in one combo regardless. You can see that they're sending 2 members towards the Elder Drake, and then they're trying to keep everyone else a little bit keen.
They can take this. I mean, it is Kha'Zix with Ryoma. They're going to ping up Baron, and they go for it. Legacy say we have to trade. They know something fishy is going on. Do Sin take this trade, though? Are they happy with Elder for Baron?
I mean, I don't think they're happy. You can see Ryoma's running over already. They got Carbon out of the pit.
The Baron is low. Can Flares get it? He can't. Carbon still gets the kill onto Baron. Flares, though, is on top of Tally, and that's an empowered Elder Dragon team with 3
Flares
elementals.
is going over the wall.
He's got Claire into the wall. Good cleanse being used by the Orianna. There is a GAUNTLET. Oh, my goodness.
Whoa.
Ryoma with the massive ultimate from the Victor.
They're still going.
Sid, they have wrapped around the backside. No flashes for the rest of your team, boys. Claire's will sneakily get out alive, but Lost is going to go down. Shut down for the Poppy. Legacy lose their AD carry.
And all of a sudden, Flares still has teleport available, and they have Elder Drake with 3 dragons. The burn damage is going to be so huge.
Ooh, where did they go? Sinner looking to try and push mid lane down against Baron buff minions into the base with the Elder Dragon picked up. They're trying to make this one a 2-0 against Spawn.
They're trying to win the game right now. This may be the last team fight.
Can Legacy hold off?
Inhibitor back up.
40 seconds on Lost to come back up and online. They do have minions pushing, but very slow. Juves is incredibly low with a Guardian Angel. Flares trying to get in amongst the back lines. FBI kind of backwards. Cupcake almost gets him there.
I think that's all. I think that potentially you run past and throw a buckler at top lane turret, although FBI now in big trouble.
Oh, Carbon's tagged him with a Q. Does he get tackled? Decides not to go in. That's an arrow thrown forward. FBI delivered into the team. Flashes away from the Shockwave. He's now life-stealing his heart out. Ryoma drops the base. Doesn't do all that much. And we can see the Guardian Angels are starting to get popped. FBI is still trying to stand and deliver. Can he take them down? But that's a shutdown on towards Flares. And Sin have to run back.
All of a sudden, you disengage. Tally actually taking a lot of damage from those plants. Needs to be careful. But I feel like Sin bit off a little bit more than they could chew there. They tried to end the game. Reality probably should have gone for top lane base turret. Would have been 2 inhibitors down, but whoa, that's a ballsy call either way.
87 minutes. The gold lead is completely tied up. Sin have the elemental dragons as well as the Elder Dragon here. Baron buff will last a little bit longer for Legacy, but that's going to expire soon.
And now if you're Ryoma, I mean, do you keep the QSS? At this stage of the game, kind of useless. Do you just get Azonias instead and hope you can outplay?
Turn golden. Stay alive.
I mean, what you're really hoping to do anyway is just flash on Lost's head and one-shot him. So does QSS really help you do that? I mean, the pick potential is now erased if he has it up and available.
Void Staff has been picked up by Rogue on Zyra.
Yeah. Oof. Whichever support outputs more damage in this last team fight is probably going to win the game.
I don't know if you're serious or not right now.
No, I'm deadly serious. I mean, you've got a full AP Zyra.
We have a sweet coming in from Spook. Sin are definitely not clean, but they are certainly confident. I don't disagree with that after that last play. FBI was in between the base, trying to take down a turret that had no minions pushing on towards it. Everyone's back up and alive now.
Ooh, Ryoma. This is one of my favorite things to do on. All right, who cares? Tally's going in.
He's going to try and bash in.
Got
Knocks
FBI
back. He's got no flash. He's dead. Cupcake gets that kill. Big play from Legacy.
That is huge from Tally. His Gragas play has been on point. They're still pushing in with Baron up creeps.
Carbon has got flash as well. Nobody from the side of Sin has flash available.
They
If he
have to
lands a kick.
live for 60 seconds right now.
Let's see if they can do just that. Legacy don't have a wave pushing yet.
I mean,
It's going to
look how
collapse.
much damage Rogue does. What fun champions are Zyra and Misfortune? AD carry players everywhere. Shut up.
There's Rogue pop ultimate here. There's the Chaos Storm. Sorry, the Gravity Field.
They've held them off the turret. It's only 30 seconds more.
So that's one ultimate. Knocking Tally out of the fight only, though. Trying to hold on. Gravity Field gets popped there. Lost now going to town on these turrets.
Carbon.
Rogue's ultimate knocks Carbon down low. Claire is going to take the first set of that laser hit, and Tally soaks up the damage of this turret. There is still a shockwave available for Claire. Gravity Field will knock the back. Knocks the GA out of Carbon, though. So that's a win. If you can take one, that's a win. 14 seconds and FBI. Legacy might have to back out.
They don't even get the inhibitor anymore. Carbon just walked into a gravity field, got sucked forward, and then lost his GA. I mean, I can't describe the play any prettier than that, because that is, he took 2 ticks, stepped out, and stepped back in. That should just not happen.
Legacy are going to go back to base here and pick up the final remaining components of their item. I mean, there's a redemption coming out from Carbon with his Locket.
Redemption Lee said.
With Knight's Bow and Locket. He is a support, Spawn.
You just hate to see it.
I mean, you change his items, cover the jungle item, and change it with Cupcakes. It looks more like a support
Cupcake
MF.
got his IE, though.
Yep.
That actually, like, so you get bonus damage on your bullet time from Infinity Edge. So if he gets a full channel bullet time with all the, lethality and armor penetration he's running, that will kill everyone.
I mean, he's massive. Late game Misfortune is no joke.
Isn't this hilarious? We're saying, so the game plan right now is ignore the Oriata for, like, slightly, kill Cupcake, and then focus everyone else.
Yeah, bullet time. Screw the Shockwave. Who needs that?
Well, Shockwave into bullet time right now.
Oh. Ryoma does have a QSS still, so no 6-item arrow. Hits Tally. Is that the target they want, though? Juice is going for Oriana. He's flashed on top of him. There's the Shockwave being used, but it's only on towards the bug. They pop Tally's GA, but Juice is dead. Tally's going to fall. That's the front line down. No Shockwave.
Lost.
Bullet time is available. Cupcake has not used it yet. FBI trying to move forward. Ultimate onto FBI. There's the bullet time. Rogue's in trouble. Big ultimates coming out, and Flares is separated from the team. Claire is dead. They pick up a kill there. Flares is still alive. That's a flash forward, only popping the GA.
Yeah, but can you stick around and kill him here? Because there's just so much damage out of Ryoma.
Gravity field almost takes him down there. A couple more ticks, that would have been lights out. Sin have their AD carry and mid lane are pushing up mid lane.
You can see that they still want this. They're so confident, Sin. They're
going
like,
for
no
it.
ultimates,
Teleport.
no problem. Teleport in, buddy. Let's go. We're closing out this game.
It's a 3-on-3. Let's see what's going to happen here. Ryoma already getting some damage down. There's a piercing shot from Lost. That's the inhibitor going to fall. Sin pick it up. No defense from Legacy.
So one more time, we'll have a little bit more of a... Just calm down, because they only go for the inhibitor. What the... What is going on?
I agree with your sentiment there, Swan.
This is actually one of the most entertaining back and forward game of League of Legends.
I mean, Juice should have said he's saved his video yesterday for today. This might be the match of the century, because we might be going for a century.
And he actually just threw his body.
Teleport. Tally's coming in. He's running towards Baron. Oh, Flair's got Carbon. Knocks him into a wall, but that might be a mistake. He's going to take some damage. No,
he's not.
He takes no damage,
He takes 0 damage.
So no GAs for the frontliners. Oh, Tally knocked into a wall. Ooh! The Ash Arrow barely misses everyone there. Tally's going to get knocked up in between the bodies there.
My goodness.
The bullet time, though, just obliterates most of Sin's frontline. Ultimate used by Losto just to try and keep them nice and safe. And turret's actually falling bottom side of the map. That's an inhibitor turret.
And now they just wait. I mean, I feel like Sin actually even lost track of their side wave there because they were like, Baron, we must do Baron. Then like, actually, we can just wait for bottom lane wave. Because that's huge. And all of a sudden, Tally used his teleport to get towards Baron the first time.
So big ultimates available will be the Shockwave as well as the kick. Flashes up for Lee Sin as well. So watch out for Carbon if he tags someone crucial with that Sonic Wave.
And this is the right call. Push top lane turret. All of a sudden, Legacy, what do? Do you go mid lane?
That's inhibitor dead. Minions have just destroyed the inhibitor.
Yeah, exactly right. So now all of a sudden, 2 inhibitors down. If anyone shows, they can just pull the trigger.
And because Tally teleported in towards that Baron play, he doesn't have anything to defend the base. The minions are crashing on towards the inhibitor. Legacy have to go for a last stand.
Yeah, they certainly do. And even if they get it, is it going to be enough? Because you can see that Sin right now just escorting the last creep wave into top lane.
They've got to try and pick someone off. Minions already into the base. No super minions in the base yet for Sin. So the turrets will be able to deal with them quite effectively. But it is a massive wave.
It certainly is. And it's going to be joined by another one coming up mid. You can see Lost as well as Claire ducking into that one, trying to cut it off. But all the while, Sin have priority over this Baron area.
They can pull the trigger now. Claire is in the mid lane. It's going to take it way too long to get it towards this Baron. Can Cupboard steal it? That's what they need right now.
I just want Cupcake's ulti to come out.
Flares misses his own ultimate. There's the Baron, really low. Carbon's going in, gets picked up by Juves, and now Tally as well as Carbon stuck in the pit. Bullet time
Not
only
good
connects
enough.
with Flares. Ultimate comes out from Ryoma, knocking down Carbon. It's a 4-on-5.
And it's going to be a 4-on-5 with Super Creeps already in the base. Only one outer turret remaining, and Sin might have just won game 2.
I mean, yesterday was the start of that Cinderella story. They're trying to continue it and bring it to match point this early into the best of 5 series. They're pushing up the wave with Baron Creeps. Sin are on their way to the base against Legacy.
They're going to push in, Fish. This is going to be the last team fight. Legacy will not go down without at least one more scuffle.
They need a big shockwave from Claire. Sin just take down the
Why do they
final
back
inhibitor
out?
and they decide not to go any further forward.
You got
Sin call it
40
off.
seconds of a 5v4.
I mean, Elder Dragon's being pinned out by Sin right now. That might be what
but
they're trying
why?
to take.
Elder Dragon, 5v4. Just walk into the base and kill the turrets. That is absolutely blown my mind.
Roma is refusing to sell his QSS. I don't think he realizes he can upgrade that even further. Get that Mercurial Scimitar going. Get those auto attacks going as Victor.
Just got to weave him in there. I
Yeah,
mean, he's
weave
got the
him
list fade. You don't actually use AD because of that, I don't believe. I think it takes your AP ratio as well as your base, but who cares?
Oh my goodness, Sin looking to try and take down Elder Dragon here. Just trying to screw the last few nails into that coffin.
You hammer nails into coffins and you screw screws.
That's the exact reason why I use that. In case you haven't found the trend in our entire cast here, Spawn.
I haven't found a trend in anything, Fish.
Sin, though, now going to try and continue pushing down the bottom lane. No inhibitors, only base left
Baron, Elder Dragon, they've spotted out Carbon. Nothing else can go more right for Sin right now.
Pull the damn trigger, Sin! Go into the base. Try and end this one against Legacy. But it's on a knife edge. If Legacy can get a miracle shockwave, it's game over.
It certainly is. I mean, if FBI, Ryoma, Rogue get caught in the same shockwave as well as a bullet time, they still might lose this game.
I think
it's going to be hard.
Double Elder Dragon picked up by Sin here. We're running out of graphics. Someone help Bogan out. Sin now pushing in. There's double minions coming in.
Here's all the creeps.
Everything's piling in. This is the last stand for Legacy. Sin looking to try and split up. They got Flare's top side.
Carbon's
Redemption
burn is
used.
redemption.
Turret is low. Claire is already trying to push out, looking for that shockwave. Flare's going to be able to take down the first turret. Second turret under fire. Carbon's dead. That's GA popped by Carbon. Lost, nailed by an arrow. Instantly QSS is out. But the turrets are taking so much damage. The Nexus is open. Sin are looking to try 2-0 Legacy here. Taking the game 3 as slowly
Just hit
members
the damn
are going to
Nexus.
fall. This is going to be game. Sin, take this one to match point.
Woo! That was a long one, Fish. 60 minutes. But Sin go up 2-0. You can see that they're drained. 5 games Friday, 5 games Saturday. But now they are on the brink of facing the Direwolves in the grand final. And Juves looks like he's about to cry. Juves actually might be crying.
Would not be surprised. Woo! That was, I believe, over 60 minutes there, Spawn. And it was Legacy controlling most of the lead, but Sin kept taking Baron after Baron away from them.
Yeah, I mean, that was a very close game. Legacy, they were up by like 4,000 or 5,000 gold majority of the early game, but Sin just kept on coming.
They certainly did, and with that, pick up the win and send this one to match point again in just 2 games of this Best of 5 series. But to break down that long haul of a game, let's send it back to Hingers and the rest of the analyst desk.
Thank you, Fish. Thank you, Spawn. Well, gentlemen, I feel like at some point we just need to admit that Sin might be quite good at League of Legends, right? Like we keep saying, oh, no, they're underdogs and stuff, but they're 2-0ing Legacy.
I don't know what's happening. The fact that like they beat AV and then they beat us and then they're 2-0 against Legacy, like I'm actually baffled that that is the situation we're currently in.
Yeah, I think they're sort of self-aware enough to know that they don't have to play perfect League of Legends to win against these teams in Oceania, and I think that they're actually playing to like what they're going to call their own style very well. I think.
Their own
Well, I
style.
mean, I don't want to say that they look like they're shit fighting around the entire map, but it kind of
So
does come across.
let's talk about their own style and use it as a framework to analyze that game. So it's basically just forcing fights, right? Is that
Yeah,
what you're
so
saying?
I think the one caveat I'll add to that is that they do actually seem to have good sideway control later in the game, and that sort of comes back up again and again, and it comes at times for them. But yeah, they do play around. Juve's early pathing is not going to be centered around getting himself ahead. We've mentioned that it is to play for his lanes, and they sort of translate their small lane leads into that mid game where they're going to play around with better side wave control, and relying on their opponents, to ignore sidewaves in favor of fights, and then upon winning the fight sort of thing, they just punish Legacy in these games really hard.
And when I looked at that, it wasn't your typical Sin, we're going to force your fights, just run at you every single time. It seemed controlled. There was this sort of chess game in that mid game where these guys were looking for the right engage, not just on Sin's side, but also on Legacy side. And really, it does come down to this fact that Sin were able to get some good team fights, like you said. They were able to do their own style in that fact. And then they were able to get the big Barons, and they were able to get control from the game from there.
Well, the other thing I want to talk about before we go into the draft is when you say that Juvs' style, right, allows him to go behind in CS because he's ganking. That's something we've been talking about a lot, like all split, but also especially the last couple of days. Is the skill discrepancy not as, well, I don't want to say skill discrepancy, but in terms of him going into Carbon, right, does he trust the fact that if Carbon's essentially building support items, right, that you don't...
You say essentially when he's literally building support
But
items.
it's like if Carbon's like buying pink wards and building a redemption or building a GA. I mean, Carbon's has said, look, I want to build GA so I can go in and not have to worry.
GA is fine, but I think like kind of what epitomizing what you're saying about Jews, right, is if you went into your next solo queue game and then you asked your jungler to sit in the top lane bush and like chunk the top laner at level 1 instead of starting the jungle, right?
Yeah.
Like Juves literally started late. Like his first camp was actually late to get a cheesy like chunk on Tally walking back to top lane at level 1. Like that, it just epitomizes what he's trying to do, right?
Yeah.
Like he's just not farming the jungle in the first game, running around on Elise. This game on the Kha'Zix, like cheesing him, like cheesing Tally early and then playing through top lane for flares. And
it's working.
Yeah, it is working. And like I think Ryoma came up really big this game as well. Like in the early lane phase, I guess like that was a really long game, right? So we've all been looking at team fights and that sort of stuff. But early on in the game, I think Carbon spent a lot of time just like running back and forth on the bot side of the map, just wasting a lot of time when Juve should have been getting punished for playing how he is. And then Tommy Ryoma in the mid lane, kind of just 1v1 in Claire and just winning 2 games in a row now has come up. I guess we didn't see any like massive play around the mid lane, but him constantly doing that means that Juves can get into the side lanes without fear of Claire rotating. All
right, so those are some things we can talk about as we bring out this analysis. Let's take a look at this draft. Mendrix, what in particular stands out to you? Because it's the Misfortune Zyra kind of combo or lane that is kind of striking to me right now.
Yeah, so Misfortune's a support pick that you're not typically seeing at the moment. It's because, Zyra hasn't really been picked up as much, but now that Rogue typically likes it, it is a great counter into. I think Ejim, you actually mentioned us before that Misfortune tends to just wreck Zyra when it comes to lane.
Absolutely. I think before we touch on the Zyra, I think I want to talk about the Lulu, because the only reason we're seeing the Zyra MF is that Lulu isn't being touched. And it's kind of ironic because I lost yesterday and I played 5 games of Lulu in a row. But like, Lulu is just better than everything else, and I don't know why it's not being picked, but Rogue is a really good Zyra. Right. And then they pick it up, and then Legacy immediately answer with the MF, which I think is a really good answer in lane. MF, you literally can't trade back. Like her E make it rain range is just so long, and it's kind of just suffocating to lane against. But I don't think they like built enough of an advantage as they should in the matchup down bot lane.
Yeah, I think it comes back to what you were mentioning about Carbon's indecision. When you've got a bottom lane that's pushing into the turret for the first maybe 10 minutes of the game, if you're not capitalizing and taking control of like 3/4 of the map with that pressure, then I think you're doing something wrong if you're from like in Carbon's position.
Right. Okay. Well, let's talk about let's transition to talking about the actual game. And there's a Baron fight I want to talk about, which is when Legacy start up the Baron and then Sin are able to take the team fight and then take Baron. So is this, Mendrix, when we look at this replay, I want to ask, is it macro play or is this just luck? What's going on here?
So this is actually a bit of a macro mismanagement by Legacy because they're pretty low here. I mean, Sin do a great job around this team fight. FBI is absolutely popping off. But the big thing here is that, yes, you managed to get a pick, but you've hanged around for quite some time. FBI's been allowed to be able to walk back in after, I think there was a death from it before. And really, with a team fight coming through from there, they're able to get the Baron afterwards. And it comes down to the fact that Kha'Zix is a really great pick as well because he's had a lot of neutral objective control. He's managed to pick up 2 dragons at this point in the game. One of them is a mountain. And immediately afterwards, being able to turn on it, because I think there's only 3 members they had at the time, they just turn on to the Baron straight away and pick it up afterwards after winning that team fight. And it was because Legacy overstayed and Sin were able to capitalize with that neutral objective control.
Yeah, and I want to touch on Legacy overstaying. I think for a large portion of this game, when you get to mid to late game, it's basically just dances around objectives, right? And Baron was the main objective for a lot of the time. And I think Legacy are just really hesitant and really uncomfortable around Baron. They don't just force Baron and like force people to come into them to fight them, whether they want to force Baron to take Baron or to force the fight. They just don't pull the trigger fast enough. And in that situation, they've just been farting around for so long. And then like Sin just come in and like take the fight, and Legacy half commit. Like Carbon was so far down from his team, he was so split off, and then he just dies for free, and Sin just clean up.
Just should Legacy have just turned and finished Baron then, and then sacked it, or what?
I mean, like who knows, like in the hypothetical world, what's the best thing? But I think like that you need to sort of unite on one front, whether you're just going to burn and turn, whether you're going to like just start a fight, like ignore the Baron. No, burn the Baron and turn for the fight sort of thing. Well, that's what we always said anyway. But like you just need to make a decision, right? Like if you're going to get the Baron, then get the Baron.
Right.
If you're going to go for a fight, go for the fight. Don't sort of, as Bryce so elegantly put it, like fart around. Like sort of stick to your guns a bit, I think.
Yeah.
I do want to talk about, I mean, they actually had a pick beforehand, and they sat for 30 seconds before they decided to jump onto that Baron. So they had the time to do it. They had the choice to go for it, but instead they wanted to go for another pick. Didn't work out for them, and then they decided to go for the Baron afterwards. Like, you can't go for that Baron at that point in time. It ends up hurting you more.
All right, well, speaking of Baron fights, let's take a look at another Baron fight, because I feel like...
This game's Barons.
Yeah, just, I mean, in a 600-minute game, you're going to see a bunch of Barons moving. So what's going on in this one?
So with this one here, this one again, it comes down to, Legacy want to go for this Baron again. I think actually this is the one where they decide to go, yep, we got the pick, we didn't find it before, FBI is respawning, and I mean, really, Sin are just able to continue to do this dance the same way again. They don't burn and turn, they do the burn and turn. That is a really big Zyra ultimate that just locks him up. As you can see, the AoE is doing all the damage it needs to, and now they decide to like walk around and continue this dance once again. And they managed to pick up, I think they tried to come back into it again, FBI is there. It's just not going to happen for them, because Sin have the control again. They've got the Mountain Drake. They're more than happy able to jump into this. Such a long replay.
Yeah, I think honestly the big thing about this is the mid priority. Because Sin have mid priority, Legacy kind of forced up, like they're sitting above the Baron pit right now, and Sin don't actually have to commit to anything right now. They're just sitting on 4k, and like the mid wave is just slowly going to push in, right? And then Carbon just gets roasted off to the side, and Sin just finishes. There's no jungler to contest. Tommy, a bit unlucky, burns all his summoners and then dies anyway. But like mid priority is so important when it comes to Baron contests, and it's just like Legacy aren't respecting, well, I was going to say sideways, but it's all the waves, right? Like Sin just have better wave control than Legacy in these games, and it's costing them big time.
So just talk about mentality in these late games, right? Where you're playing for 45, 50, 60 minutes in a game like this. I mean, you've coached, teams all over the world now. So, on 2 continents, it's more than I've done. So at that point, are Legacy making poor decisions just because they're exhausted, or is it they don't know? Like, try and peer inside. Do they not know what the right thing to do is there, or are they just kind of arguing, or what's going on, do you think?
Yeah, so me and Ejim actually had this little discussion about, I guess, like how you use practice, right? And I was saying that if Legacy aren't very confident on Baron, then spend a month just losing Barons in scrims and actually learn to play it decisively. And I think that, like, as we just saw them sort of not know what to do, like not work with their side waves or mid wave, like if they just start dedicating time to improve what is clearly a weakness in their game, then maybe that turns around in time for playoffs. But it's just, at the moment, I think that they're a bit lost with it.
All right. Well, because we have Ejim on the desk, I do want to talk about this support matchup, MF Zyra. Now, we touched on it before, Ejim, but when you look at this game, right? I mean, Spawn is off in the corner now, laughing. What strikes you there?
Cupcake, to me, is a very good player, but the man just doesn't buy bloody pink boards. Look at that. That's 7 to 36, right? The entire game. Like, actually, I want to talk about this. So early on in the game, Cupcake picks up a Dirk. I think he completely misbought. He thought he was building into the cleaver and then just bought the wrong items. Yeah. And then for the rest of the game, I'm going to give him the benefit of the doubt and say that he was struggling for item slots because he had that Dirk that he just sat on. But I think stylistically, you know who the true support is on Legacy, and Carbon does not wear the pants because he bought Redemption and he bought Locket, and Cupcake just was sitting on longswords the entire time.
But how do you play into that then? If you're Sin and you know that's going to happen.
Well, I don't really know.
Prioritize killing Cupcake.
Yeah, well, I mean, like, if he's going to do that much damage, he's going to end 11-2 because, like, he just gets to buy damage. Like, that's unfair. I want to buy damage. But, like, I think...
It's Volt's watching right now. Look, there's a new meta evolving in O's.
Tim, come on. No, I think... Honestly, like, it just feels wrong, to be honest. I don't think it's optimal to have your jungler building Redemption and Locket and have your support building AD.
Yeah.
MF, obviously, MF obviously is going to build the AD, right? I think she gets 2 items and then goes Redemption. But... yeah, I don't know.
Yeah, I think obviously a large flaw in their play right now is they're not playing the map very well, and you could probably pin a bit of it onto the fact that they don't have vision. They can't see where Sin's deploying to, what they're setting up for, right? Because their support is too busy building longswords and over pink boards.
How much is a pink board worth? Like 70 gold, 75 gold?
75 gold.
75 gold, right? So how many boards can you get for a longsword then? Like 5? 4?
Yeah.
Yeah, four and a bit.
Yes.
Yeah, like just by the words.
Yeah, I don't know. Like the MF Zyra matchup is good, and like Cupcake finished the game like 11-2, and his score looked amazing. But like maybe I'm nitpicking, and maybe it's a bit rude because they lost. But I don't think he had like a very great game considering his scoreline. I think it's just like decisiveness is just biting Legacy in the ass. Sin, even if they're not playing like optimally, even if they're playing risky, going for like risky early skirmishes or whatever, right? They're just collectively as a unit, just like united, and they're just running around as a death ball and doing things. And Legacy are being hesitant and aren't pulling the trigger, so their side waves are getting pushed in, and they're just getting...
All right. Well, before we get into game 3, which could be the last game of the night, who knows? It's match point. Let me get from you, starting with you, Mendrix. What do Legacy need to do to turn this around, and can they take a game?
I think they need to do what Sin are doing and be confident. That's the big thing that they're missing out on. If you just trust in yourselves, do what you're going to do. If you're going to go for the pick, commit to the pick. Don't go for the Baron afterwards. If you're going to go for the Baron, commit to the Baron. If you can do that and you play well, you should find that you're the ones with the objectives. You're the one winning the team fights.
All right.
Yeah, like the beauty of playing a best of 5 is that if you're like unified and make the wrong decision, you got 4 more chances like not to mess it up again, right?
Yeah.
But I guess if you miss all the shots you don't take or whatever, I think if they're just not playing as a team, right, then they just have no chance against, as we just said, like the Sin sort of like unified forefront.
What do they do to turn it around?
Well, I think Lost and Tally are actually playing pretty well. Like in their losses, I think both of them are actually playing pretty decently. And I think in their room right now, like Carbon should be sitting there, like gathering the boys around. He's just like, come on, like, what do you want? Tally, what do you want? Tally's just getting roasted by like Juve's just sitting in the top lane. So like maybe give him a bit more of assistance, because I think his Gragas performance was really good despite how much pressure he had on him. And then like Lost as well, like I guess they had a good matchup in that bot lane this time, but it didn't go as well as they'd hoped. But look to get that again, and then put the players who are playing well in a position for them to carry you a game.
All right, well, that's the advice from the desk going into game 3. Sin are currently up 2-0. We'll be back with the casters right after these highlights.
He's looking to take on the turret first. Juice
Really
jumps
nice.
in, first blood. Easily executed by Sin. Flares will get some damage, but the return comes in. That's a big shockwave into bullet time, and Legacy are going to obliterate the 1-by-1. Ryoma, though. Huge Chaos Storm. Can they get anything from it, though? Legacy have low health bars, but they've already lost their support. Baron already at half health. Legacy have to be careful. You can see they peel off. They're trying to go for a fight. Juve's going to get tagged up by Carbon, but is he dead? Carbon's going to be the first one to fall in this fight as FBI chases on down. The rest of Sin now going to collapse. Claire is low. Big heal from FBI, but Lost takes it down. Double kill for FBI. Tally is stuck between 3 members of Sin and gets pummeled to the ground by the Poppy Hammer. Sin looking for Baron. It's getting low. Juice will smite this one away. Flares is now looking for the re-engage. Juice flashes on forward. Bullet time is going to deter them from going any further forward. Legacy have to fight away. Ryoma's caught. He's dead again. The mid laner from Sin getting pummeled time and time again. Carbon's going to be able to flash out. Juice jumps in aggressive. Lost lives to tell the tale as well. That's a double kill for Cupcake. They stop damage, but they haven't disengaged fully. Now Baron's going to regenerate a lot of its health. Good gravity field. Flares knocked in. Big ultimate from Rogue as well. Keep them locked down. Ryoma pop went off in this team fight, and it's about time as Legacy have to retreat with the tail between their feet. Tally is teleporting back in. Carbon over the pit. Low on health. Do Sin back out. Bullet time's going to go wide. Big arrow's going to come out. They chase down the jungler. He's dead. Juves is back into the pit.
You got to give it up.
No smite contest going to come out. Shockwave will kill Ryoma, but Baron buff going over towards Sin again. That's an arrow thrown forward. FBI delivered into the team. Flashes away from the shockwave. He's now life stealing his heart out. Ryoma drops the base. Doesn't do all that much. And we can see the Guardian Angels are starting to get popped. FBI still trying to stand and deliver. Can he take them down? But that's a shutdown on towards Flares. And Sin have to run back. Flares misses his own ultimate. There's the Baron, really low. Carbon's going in, gets picked up by Juves, and now Tally as well as Carbon stuck in the pit. Bullet time only connects to Flares. Ultimate comes out from Ryoma, knocking down Carbon. It's a 4-on-5. Flares going to be able to take down the first turret, second turret under fire. Carbon's dead. That's GA popped by Carbon. Lost, nailed by an arrow. Instantly QSS is out, but the turrets are taking so much damage. The Nexus is open. Sin are looking to try 2-0 Legacy here, taking the game 3 as slowly members are getting